For defending ARCA Lincoln Welders Midget champion Jerry Niemeyer, life is pretty sweet these days. A veteran of the USAC Sprint and Silver Crown Series, Niemeyer, at 52 years young, is still getting the job done. But there's an aggressive, new, eager crop of young talent showing itself within the series these days, ready and willing to knock the champ down. But it takes more than aggression and talent to secure championships. It takes patience and seat time all the time. Then again, how much patience can you have in a 30-lap main event? Well, we're about to find out when the ARCA Mighty Midgets get ready to roll at the Rock. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Flat Rock Speedway here in Flat Rock, Michigan, where the ARCA Lincoln Welders Midget Series is ready to be unleashed around this tiny but tough quarter-mile banked bull ring. I'm Don Radeball here to bring you at least part of the action. Believe me, the ARCA Midgets will provide all the rest. Got a great show on tap for you, one that includes qualifying heats and a 30-lap main event. It's another ARCA Midget open-wheel extravaganza, and it's next, only on Speed Vision. Stay with us. Welcome back to Flat Rock Speedway, where qualifying is underway for the ARCA Lincoln Welders Midget Series. First out is Morenci, Michigan driver John Evers in the Michigan Corn Growers car, and a very interesting story on this car. We talked to him earlier in the day. Let's check it out. Alongside John Evers, who drives the Michigan Corn Growers Beast entry. And John, what's the Michigan Corn Growers thing all about?
Well, they promote ethanol. What it is all the farmers in the state put a few cents from every bushel of corn that is sold into a fund, and then the Michigan Corn Growers disperses that money for promotions and stuff like that. So they give us money for the last 3 years, they give us money, and our goal is to promote ethanol and to make that one of the #1 fuels in the nation now.
You actually burn ethanol in this race car.
It's a combination ethanol-alcohol blend. You can't burn straight ethanol in these. You could a passenger car, but in a high-performance motor, you can't do that, so we have to run a blend.
Yeah, interesting story on John Evers and the Michigan Corn Growers VW-powered midget. Qualifying underway at a first lap time of 13:163 for John Evers. Second lap on John was 12:74. Next out will be car number 45. This is driver Kevin Myers out of Wapakoneta, Ohio, in the Allied Equipment Custom Electric Dirty-powered midget. And I talked to Kevin earlier, and he had worked on this chassis all winter long, made a lot of changes to it, hoping to make it a lot better. And right now, I'd say he's got the chassis set pretty well. A nice tight line through the corner. His first lap time would be 12:63 for the Wapakoneta, Ohio driver Kevin Myers. His second lap time coming in here will be pretty good lap, 12.514 seconds, 12.514 seconds, second round for Kevin Myers. Next up on the grid is from the Gibson racing family. Lots of racing heritage here as Larry Gibson prepares to qualify here at the Rock. Talked to Larry earlier on in the day as well. Let's check that out. You come from a racing background. Your father raced, your brothers raced. Does that add any additional pressure?
Yeah, yeah, it does. It's tough. I mean, when you got the whole family, it's not just me and my brother. I got 2 other brothers who are in dirt every week. So it's all 4 of us boys race. And Dad, it's tough on him. I mean, we spread him kind of thin sometimes, but you know, he tried to handle it the best way he can. And this year I built my own garage, so I moved everything to my house. And first thing this morning I called him and said, Dad, I need some help. Come over. And he came over. We push started the car and did do adjustments on the engine.
Well, apparently those adjustments seem to be paying off, because this car, number 5, the Gibson Racing Autocraft entry, really getting around well. We'll check the lap time on the 5 car, and it's quickest so far at 12.277 seconds. Quite a run from Larry Gibson in car number 5. That's quick so far. Great effort from Larry Gibson. Next out will be the 97 car. This is Phil Rutledge out of Clawson, Michigan, the Vet Shop Pontiac. It was Phil who won this event back in 1997. That's a brand new car. He just got that done. Been working about 30 hours straight to get that entry ready for the show here at the Rock. Driver out of Clawson, Michigan, Phil Rutledge, gets around the Rock really well. First lap time coming up will be 12.418 seconds. 12.418 seconds. That's good enough for second quick so far from Phil Rutledge. Checking the second lap here. This one looks good as well. We'll check it here at the stripe. Quick time so far at 12.222 seconds. Jerry Niemeyer in line, ready to qualify, the defending ARCA champion. But next out is the 99 car of Dave Baumgartner, one of the young lions of the ARCA Midget Series out of Ottawa Lake, Michigan, in the Autocraft Engines Linney Enterprises Ford-powered entry. As we watch the youngster work through 3 and 4, he appears to have a push, and that chassis really tight and probably not handling as well as he would like. And what we mean by a push, when he turns those tires, those wheels to the left, the car does not want to go left. It wants to steer towards the fence, and that's a great example of what they call a push. You hear that a lot in open wheel racing, or any racing for that matter. But that car not handling all that well. He'll time in at 12.671 seconds. Here is the other half of the Gibson Racing family, or at least another part of it anyway. This is Gene Lee Gibson, a former ARCA Midget winner in the Zero car, brother of Larry, who we heard from earlier in the day. Gene Lee Gibson, a former super modified driver and USAC Sprint and Silver Crown racer. Does a lot of different racing, has a sprint car as well. He'll be competing in the USAC sprint car race this season. Gene Lee Gibson on it now in car number 0. He'll time in at 12.560 seconds first lap for Gene Lee, 12.56. Second lap time, 12.469. 12.469. That's third quick so far for Gene Lee Gibson. Next up will be the defending ARCA Lincoln Welder Midget Series champion from Erie, Michigan, the veteran Jerry Niemeyer in Sweet Lil 16. Niemeyer under the gun now. The Jaeger Racing Brayton entry. Been at this open wheel racing a long, long time. First lap time for Niemeyer. Good one at 12.443 seconds around this tight quarter-mile oval here at Flat Rock Speedway. You're watching the ARCA Lincoln Welder Midget Series qualify. Second lap time on Niemeyer. He'll stop the clock at 12.499 seconds, just a tick slower, so 12.443 seconds. His first lap will be Niemeyer's official lap here, or official time tonight. Up will be Gary Harrell, the youngster out of Temperance, Michigan, a graphic artist. He does all his own art and paint work on this machine. This is a brand new Hawk chassis, absolutely gorgeous race car. Had a chance to take a closer look at this car earlier on. Let's check it out. Open wheel midgets have been a main staple on the American racing frontier since the early 1920s and have helped ignite great careers along the way, careers that include the late great Bill Vukovich, Mario Andretti, and most recently Tony Stewart, just to name a few. What are they? Really hard to say, but we're going to give it a crack here. We'll take a closer look at Gary Harrell's beautiful Hawk Racing chassis. We'll start with the rear tailpiece. Really not a tailpiece at all. In fact, it's the fuel tank. Inside is a rubber bladder that holds 27 gallons of racing fuel. They have a quick change rear end that allows the crew to change the gears rapidly and easily for changing track conditions and changing weather patterns. They are direct drive. They're either in gear or out of gear. About 72 to 76 inches in wheelbase, so they're a very tiny race car, but very powerful. Consider that the motors make nearly 400 horsepower, and they're only nearly 800 pounds, so that's nearly 1/2 horsepower per pound. They're interesting race cars, they're exciting race cars, and tons of fun to watch. And Gary Harrell is really making things exciting now as he completes his second lap here at the Rock. We'll check the time. Quick time for Gary Harrell at 12.114 seconds. What an effort from the youngster from Temperance, Michigan. That concludes qualifying. Heat races on tap. What a run from Gary Harrell in car number 4. We'll be back to burn more ethanol. You're enjoying the ARCA Midgets on Speed Vision. Stay with us. The ARCA Midgets are brought to you by Lincoln Welder, the official sponsor of the ARCA Midget Series, where heat race number 1 is ready to go. Lined up 2 by 2. Here is your starting lineup. On the pole will be car number 14, B.J. Manson. He'll go alongside the other Michigan corn grower entry, car number 68, Doug Helmke. Mike Ostrowskis, car number 3, and Kevin Myers, car number 45, make up row 2. In row 3, Gene Lee Gibson in the 0 entry alongside John Evers, car number 63. We heard from him earlier. Larry Gibson, brother of Gene, in the 5 car in row 4 on the inside alongside car number 4, Gary Harrell. That's your lineup in heat race number 1. We'll go 8 laps here in our first heat. On the point, B.J. Manson, one of the rookies in this series, looking for the start here off turn 4. Mike Ostrowskis is ready and gets a good jump, the 3 car. The 14 car of B.J. Manson, however, did not get a very good start and fades to 4th in a hurry. Ostrowskis will lead the train through 3 and 4 here off turn 4 with Gene Lee in tow. That is the Doug Helmke car in 3rd. Car number 68, a Michigan Corn Growers entry, as the 0 of Gene Lee Gibson slides inside of the 3 of Ostrowskis and takes over the top spot. Doug Helmke rides in 3rd and will take a shot at Ostrowskis here off turn 2. A little nudge. The 5 car almost goes over the wheel of the 3. That would be Larry Gibson in the 5 car. Close call there off turn 2. Meanwhile, the 0 of Gene Lee Gibson beginning to put some real estate between himself and the 68 car of Doug Helmke as Larry Gibson shoots inside of the 3 car of Ostrowskis and takes over 3rd. But it's Gene Lee Gibson showing the way here off turn 2. From the racing Gibson family, his father was a super modified driver and USAC sprint car driver for years, so racing's in the blood here for sure as he continues to run away with heat race number 1. Doug Helmke, meanwhile, taking the heat from Larry Gibson. Now, this is the race for second. It's a good one. Gibson sneaks a peek inside of Helmke through 3 and 4. Not anything there, though. He'll fall back in line. Take another peek here off turn 2. Good, tight, open wheel racing. Back in 3 and 4. And with caution on the Speedway now, that's Mike Ostrowskis in trouble up off turn 4. Already out of the car. Checking the right rear on that machine. Picking up your lead here. This is Gene Lee Gibson in the 0 car out of Richwood, Ohio, followed by Doug Helmke in the 68 car. The 5 of Larry Gibson is 3rd. Gary Harrell running 4th in the 45 of Kevin Myers, your top 5 contenders for now. With 6 laps on the board, 2 remain in heat race number 1 here at Flat Rock Speedway. Legendary Flat Rock Speedway that's they've been racing here since the early 1950s. Looking for the start here off turn 4. Green flag in the air. Helmke gets a good run at Gene Lee and will follow him through 1 and 2, but Gene Lee gets a better run off turn 2 and puts about 5 car lengths between him and Helmke. With a white flag in the air, 1 more round for the Richwood, Ohio ace, Gene Lee Gibson. Off turn 2, approaching some lap traffic. That was the 52 of Dominic. And here's the run for second. It's a good one as the checkered flag falls for Gene Lee Gibson. Larry Gibson will nip Helmke at the stripe for second. Great race for second and heat race number 1. But your winner will be Gene Lee Gibson. Larry Gibson will finish second. John Evers was 3rd. Gary Harrell, Kevin Myers, B.J. Manson, Doug Helmke, and Mike Ostrowskis complete the top 8 as Gene Lee Gibson rolls into victory lane here at the Rock. Well, that'll cover it for heat race number 1. With heat race number 2 on tap, we'll take a short pause and come back with the starting line of fans scurrying to their seats in time for heat race number 2. Stay with us. Welcome back to Flat Rock Speedway, where the ARCA Lincoln Welders Midget Series is preparing to go in heat race number 2. Here's how they stack up. On the pole will be car number 90, Rob Banks, alongside the 2-time ARCA Midget champion Rick Harrell in the 1 car. Dave Baumgartner in the 98 car, and row 2 alongside Todd Sears, the rookie, in 26. T.R. Barker scheduled to go inside row 3 in 77, alongside Niemeyer in 16, and it's Phil Rutledge in 97. And the 19 car of Chris O'Connell rounding out the field. With green flag already on the Speedway, Rick Harrell takes an early lead in heat race number 2 as we watch him work the wheel in the KO Lumber Company sponsored entry. He is a 2-time ARCA Midget champion. That's what I like about open cockpit racing, because you get a chance to see the driver work inside the cockpit as we watch Niemeyer run down Gary, make that Rick Harrell. Rick is, of course, the brother of Gary. We heard from Gary earlier in the show, and now we've got 2 ARCA champions going at it up front, a 2-time champion and, of course, the defending champion, Jerry Niemeyer, in car number 16. A race for the lead developing here off turn number 2. Of course, Rick does other racing as well, currently a participant in the ARCA Bondo Marhide series. That's the stock car series that run all the super speedways: Daytona, Atlanta, Charlotte, Talladega, Pocono, Michigan, and on. But he not only competes in this midget series, but a campaigner in the Bondo Marhide stock car series as well. So certainly a bright future in order for Rick Harrell, who's leading heat race number 2 for the ARCA Lincoln Welder Midget Series, with Jerry Niemeyer in tow, and now Phil Rutledge beginning to sneak his way up front as well in the 97 car. But this is the race for the lead. It's Rick showing the way over Jerry Niemeyer. And trouble off turn 2. It's Phil Rutledge, who won this event last year, finding himself turned around. Won't bring out the caution, though. Still on the green. 1 lap to go. Here is the race for the lead. Niemeyer has 1 more corner to get the job done. He'll sneak a peek inside. Smoke the tire here off turn 4. Not enough. Rick Harrell takes the checkered flag ahead of Jerry Niemeyer. Had a chance to talk with Rick earlier. Let's find out what he had to say. Pit side with 2-time ARCA Lincoln Welders Midget champion Rick Harrell. First race of the season. Are you guys ready?
We're ready. In fact, we finished up this morning, and we went out and practiced our first practice session, and things are looking pretty good so far. We had to make a couple changes to the chassis.
Well, I got to talk about your Bondo Marhide adventure. This guy drives an ARCA Bondo Marhide car, and that's a 3,400-pound stock car. What can you learn here in a 1,200-pound, 800 to 1,200-pound midget that you can use in a 3,400-pound stock car, if anything?
It sharpens up your reflexes. These cars here, you have to be on top of the race car constantly. And with the Bondo Marhide car, you can be more relaxed with it. But this here, it gets you through traffic a little bit better, I believe. So I take that in with the Bondo Marhide car. And the weight difference is quite a bit different. I ran Atlanta with the Bondo Marhide car, and it's like a huge race car, and I get in this one tonight, and I said, I need some more room, and it never used to bother me before, but it's there's quite a bit of difference in both cars.
What's going to take the win tonight?
Be pretty aggressive, good working car.
And I would say Mr. Harrell has a pretty good working car indeed as he climbs out of that KO Lumber Company sponsored entry. A little salute to the crowd. And grabs that checkered flag. He'll take a knee. You're watching the ARCA Midgets on Speed Vision. Stay with us. Welcome back to Flat Rock Speedway. I'm Don Radeball here on Speed Vision. Hope you're enjoying all the action. Got plenty of it for you here as we prepare for the ARCA Midget main event. Thought we'd show you some highlights from the local late model division here at Flat Rock. This is one whale of a program and had to bring it to you, if you don't mind, just briefly. But these guys really put on a show. That's the 52 car of Rick Knowles. He's a former street stock champion here at the Rock, but he has yet to win a championship in the late model division. That's the 86 car of Dennis Strickland, the 7 of Jason Hedleski, and on the outside there, the 71 of Steve Bungie, a 3-time ARCA late model champion here at Flat Rock Speedway. But these cars were over 30 strong. We narrowed it down to 20 here for the main event that goes 35 racing laps. But boy, can these guys put on a show as Rick Knowles continues to show the way in car number 52. But lots of great side-by-side, door-to-door stock car style racing, the kind we love so much. As Bungie puts the move on the 86 car of Dennis Strickland, looking for the leader, the 52 of Rick Knowles. Boy, do these put on a show, and boy, do they pack the grandstands each and every Saturday night. Now you can tell why. They've been doubled up right from the get-go. These are about 2,800-pound late models. They do run a Hoosier spec tire. They run the 358 cubic inch engines with the steel blocks, but they can run the aluminum heads. And boy, do they put on quite a program as Rick Knowles continues to show the way. And as you can tell, that bottom edge, the bottom line, seems to be the best route around Flat Rock Speedway. If you can hang on to that bottom groove, you're in pretty good shape. And really, the best way to pass is, well, I won't say the best, but it's one of the only ways to get around here or pass someone at the Rock is to go at it on the high side. Certainly easier said than done, as you can tell by the 71 of Steve Bungie, who continues to work the high groove. But unless you sort of nudge the driver or car out of the way and maneuver him out of the way and sneak underneath, the outside's the only where to go, and you got to set that chassis up to run on the outside. And nobody does it better than the 3-time champion, Steve Bungie, car number 71, as he continues to assault the 52 car of Rick Knowles. Great stock car late model racing here at the Rock, side by side for the lead, and they've been that way just about the entire distance so far, and that's why we wanted to bring it to you, because it's such great, awesome late model racing. Rick Knowles, car number 52, alongside still the 71 of Steve Bungie, who continues to work that outside groove. It's really difficult to set your car to run the outside, but if you can set it and twist it just right, well, that's the place to be. That's the place to pass here at the Rock. But again, easier said than done as Bungie continues to work on the 52 car of Rick Knowles. The 86 car, that's Dennis Strickland. He continues to run third, followed by the 7 of Jason Hedleski. That's your top 4 contenders for now as Bungie continues to work on Knowles, but Knowles pretty crafty in using up that racetrack off the corners. Gonna run Bungie out of room there, but Bungie not about to give up and continues to work the high line here at the Rock. 2 former champions going at it here. Rick Knowles, as I mentioned, a former street stock champion here at Flat Rock Speedway. If you ever get a chance to come out to Flat Rock, you got to see this place. Not only for this awesome late model division, but they've got a street stock division here that brings out 40 to 50 cars each and every Saturday night, and a quality class street stock division you won't want to miss. If you ever get a chance to be here, come on out. It's a great program. Plus, they've got a figure 8 series. Not a lot of people doing that these days, and I'll tell you, nothing charges the crowd more than the Motor City Madmen, as they're known here, the Figure 8 Series, the Auto Value Figure 8 Series. But it's a great program here at the Rock, and if we had an opportunity, which we certainly do, we wanted to bring a little more of it to you as we watch Steve Bungie continue to work on the 52 car of Rick Knowles. Now, these guys have been fender to fender and door to door right from the start. This is great late model racing. 2 cars that look very similar, actually, at least in paint scheme. Different numbers, though. 52 on the low end, the 71 on the high side. Bungie and Knowles going at it Flat Rock Speedway style in the late model division. Still side by side. Bungie gets a good run through 3 and 4, wheel to wheel, door to door, off turn 4. The 86 of Strickland still running third ahead of the 7 of Jason Hedleski. But now Bungie carries the advantage back to 3 and 4 with a wheel ahead of the 52 car. They'll roll side by side, even up at the stripe here. Back to turns 1 and 2. Bungie still on the high side with a bit of an advantage still, and gets a great run off turn 2 to 3 and 4. Wow, this is good stuff. And they haven't touched. You can tell these drivers as Bungie takes the lead. That's incredible. You can tell these 2 drivers have a great deal of respect for one another. They went nearly 25 laps side by side and never touched one another. That's good, close, clean late model racing, just the way it should be. Both drivers did an excellent job as Bungie takes the lead. The 3-time champion now comes around for the white flag. One more lap for the car number 71. What a run from Steve Bungie. Did it the hard way and earned every bit of it. Checkered flag for Steve Bungie. What a great race. Hope you enjoyed it. As we watch the rest of the field thunder down through the checkered flag, 3 wide. Boy, great racing. Further back as well, you're watching ARCA Racing on Speed Vision. Stay with us. Welcome back to Flat Rock Speedway, where all the ARCA action is brought to you by Lincoln Welders, as we prepare to go in the main event for the ARCA Lincoln Welders Midget Series. Here is your lineup. Todd Sears, the rookie, with a tall order on the pole. Car number 26, the Middleton, Indiana driver, alongside Kevin Myers in 45. Row 2, Jerry Niemeyer, the veteran defending champ, car number 16, alongside Gene Lee Gibson in the 0. John Evers, the Michigan Corn Growers V-Dub, car number 63, and Chris O'Connell make up row 3. Further back, it'll be Phil Rutledge in 97. Larry Gibson in 5. Mike Isroskis in the 3 car. Gary Harrell, car number 4, and Rick Harrell start 10th and 11th, having to work hard for it tonight. Doug Helmke in the other Michigan Corn Growers entry, car number 68, starts 12th tonight ahead of Rob Bank, B.J. Manson, Dave Baumgartner, one of the young Lions of the Midget Series, Dominic Bono, and T.R. Barker rounding out the grid in this 30-lap ARCA Lincoln Welders Midget main event. Looking for the go here very soon. Todd Sears, his heart's got to be pounding as the green flag flies to begin the 30-lap main event. Sears from Middleton, Indiana will show the way through 1 and 2 with Myers, Gene Lee Gibson, and Jerry Niemeyer in tow. Niemeyer, or make that Gibson, makes a move inside of the 45 car. All for nothing, though. Caution on the Speedway. Understand from race officials that they did not like that start. Sears, apparently, the pole sitter had jumped the start a bit, so we'll try it all again, lining them up 2 by 2. He'll get the warning. Should go next time by. He wants to go, and that's what racing's all about, putting the hammer down and going. But he apparently did that just a bit too soon. He's done a great job tonight, Todd Sears has, though, on the pole. This has got to be quite a thrill. He qualified very well and looks very strong here, and I expect big things from Sears in the future. Now that's a much better start. Sears, again, will show the way through 1 and 2, but he's got the 16 car of Jerry Niemeyer hot on his heels as we watch the action here off turn 4. It's Sears, Niemeyer, and Myers and Gibson running wheel to wheel. Give it to Gibson for now. He'll take the 3rd spot and chase Niemeyer down the backstretch here through 3 and 4. I see Larry Gibson moving around Myers in the 5 car. Good race for the lead. It's Niemeyer inside of Sears now with Gibson in tow. Still wheel to wheel. Sears not about to give it up, not yet anyway. Niemeyer will take the spot away from the rookie. Todd Sears, veteran, against the rookie, takes the top spot. He'll bring Gene Lee Gibson along inside of Sears. Gibson now takes 2nd away from Sears and looking, or does he? Sears charges right back. Boy, Sears really running well on the high side and running well, period, here at the Rock, showing a lot of maturity here with the open wheel cars. He'll open up the door, unfortunately, though, for Larry Gibson, who takes that spot. Trouble here on the backstretch. It looks like the 52 car of Dominic Bono in trouble. Under caution, 2nd of the day with 5 laps in. 25 laps remain. Jerry Niemeyer is your leader with Gene Lee Gibson running 2nd. Another shot of Dominic Bono waiting for assistance there. Spun, not sure what triggered it all, but we do know that we are under caution with 5 laps again in the record books. 25 laps do remain. Jerry Niemeyer, car number 16, long-time open-wheel veteran. Been racing for better than 30 years in the USAC Sprint and USAC Silver Crown ranks. Now spending most of his time these days with the ARCA Midget Series. And it's paid off as last year's champion. Gene Lee Gibson chasing Niemeyer. When Niemeyer will have a tall order to hold off the 0 car. Gene Lee has got a great handle on that race car tonight. But if anybody can do it, I suppose Niemeyer can. The crafty old veteran that he is. And you'll see a lot of the cars working their tires and racers back and forth. That's an effort to keep heat in the tires. Under these caution periods, the tires have a tendency to cool down. Then when you try to heat them up right away, they'll glaze over and they don't work as effectively. So many of the cars will work the wheel back and forth in an effort to keep heat in those tires so that they're effective when they go green here very, very soon. And you can see them all, most of them anyway, doing just that, working their cars, machines back and forth, trying to keep heat in those tires. Like we have in the 1 lap signal. Yep, there's the white flag, so we'll cut them loose next time by. We'll set the order again. Jerry Niemeyer on the point, followed by Gene Lee Gibson, Todd Sears, and the 5 car of Larry Gibson. Running 5th is the Michigan Corn Growers entry of John Evers, who's giving it a great run tonight. A little shoving and bumping there, looking for the go. Niemeyer brings the field off turn 4. And we'll show the way off turn 2 already, taking the heat. In trouble already. It's Mike Estroskis getting crossed up in the 3 car. Got together with the 52 of Dominic Bono, or so it appeared. That didn't take long. We'll bring the caution back out and slow the field. Good time to take a pause. You're watching the ARCA Midgets on Speed Vision. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Rock, where it's not easy to get around this place, and we talked to some of the drivers about that very fact earlier in the day.
Smooth. Keep out of trouble and keep the car as free as possible. Smooth is the name of the game.
Well, it takes a good handling car. I mean, got to have a lot of luck, that's for sure. Right now, we're not handling very well. It's really loose, so try to get it tightened up here before we go qualify and see what happens tonight.
A lot of finesse, what I don't have, I guess. Well, it just, you know, you got to have the car working for you. You're hung out most of the time, and you can't be hung out here, and that's the way we seem to be half the time. But we was out there practicing. It felt good, and then it didn't, but it had a bolt loose on the torsion bar, so we think that's what it was, hopefully.
A lot of patience, smoothness, good car.
and a lot of luck to get around other people. You got to get working on the high groove around this place so you can get around it, so you can pass the cars. It's a hard place to pass on the inside. You just got to get hooked up on the outside to win here.
Yeah, and we talked about that earlier, how you got to be working on the outside. If you're going to go there, you got to have the chassis that's going to work there. But that's the place to go if you want to pass here at the Rock. Unless somebody opens up the bottom door for you, but that doesn't happen an awful lot. Anyway, we look for the green this time by. It's Jerry Niemeyer showing the way over the 0 of Gene Lee Gibson, Todd Sears, and Larry Gibson. Looks like John Evers put the move on Larry for 4th in the Michigan Corn Growers entry. Evers giving it a great run tonight as the 0 of Gene Lee Gibson continues to work on our leader, Jerry Niemeyer. Good race for 3rd and 4th. It's Larry Gibson driving to the high side, apparently working good there around Sears as Gibson puts a wheel inside of Niemeyer. Not enough, no. He'll chase the 16 car, tail to tail, nose to tail, make that back to 1 and 2. Three wide race here. It's Niemeyer, Gibson, and Gibson. And look at the 0 car. Gene Lee working the chassis to the high side. Caution though. That'll halt that advance in a hurry. Caution on the Speedway. Not sure what it's for just yet. Niemeyer still has the lead. Maybe debris on the track or something, but we are once again slowed here at Flat Rock Speedway, where Jerry Niemeyer continues to show the way over Gene Lee Gibson. Larry Gibson, brother of Gene, now running 3rd, ahead of Todd Sears, and I see Phil Rutledge has worked his way now into the top 5 in the 97 car. Gary Harrell and Rick Harrell beginning to work their way forward as well. Under caution. 2 former ARCA Midget champions here. One, of course, would be Jerry Niemeyer, the defending champ and leader. The 5 car, didn't mention that earlier, but Larry Gibson is also a former ARCA Midget champion, so that makes 3 ARCA Midget champions in the field here tonight, to include Rick Harrell as well. With things in order, stacking them up already, trouble in 3 and 4. It's Todd Sears, the rookie, who had to get on the binders in a hurry. Unfortunately, he'll take the orange car of John Evers as well. That's Todd Sears down there now, stuck in the mud. Very unfortunate for the rookie, and that will bring out still yet another caution. I believe our 4th caution of the event. Now a closer look in the slow-mo frame. Niemeyer bringing them down slow. You see they begin to stack up here. Yep, and the 26 car, Todd Sears, decides he'll get on the brakes. May have got a nudge there from the 97 car, but initially he turned himself around and took the 63 of John Evers as well. That's all part of being a rookie, I suppose, and learning the ropes here at the Rock in open wheel midget racing. We'll take a moment to wipe the track off there, make the racing surface clean and safe and ready to go. A good shot of Dave Baumgartner, who's been working an ill-handling chassis here tonight. Working a little better, though, and starting to work his way up front. He now chases the 2-time midget champion Rick Harrell, beginning to work his way forward. Dave Baumgartner, you'll be hearing more from him in the future. He had 14 second-place finishes last year, Dave Baumgartner did, in the 98 car. Still looking for victory lane. Kevin Myers and Chris O'Connell giving it a good run tonight. Car number 19, gentleman out of Roanoke, Indiana. Chris O'Connell chasing Kevin Myers in the 45 car. 2 young speedsters in the ARCA Midget Series. It looks like John Evers is going to get his spot back. Deemed not at fault in that incident, so we'll put the 63 car back where he was, 5th or 6th, somewhere in there anyway. Gary Harrell working his way forward as well in the 4 car. Harrell was our quick timer tonight in that car number 4, brand new Hawk chassis, starting to work his way forward. Track cleanup appears to be well in order, should be going here very, very soon. Still trying to work the lineup a bit there in the back, but we'll sort it all out here very, very soon. Jerry Niemeyer, the Erie, Michigan driver at 52 years young, showing the boys the way around Flat Rock Speedway. But he's got another veteran behind him. Gene Lee Gibson in the 0 car is no slouch in an open wheel race car, and can indeed get the job done with Larry Gibson, Phil Rutledge, and Gary Harrell completing the top 5 for now anyway, with a white flag in the air. That's the signal that they'll go racing next time by. Dave Baumgartner working his way up into the top 7 spot. He's behind Rick Harrell, who runs 6th, but Baumgartner had to start from the tail end. and apparently they've got the chassis working much better in the 98 car. Looking for the start here off turn 4. Niemeyer again shows the way back to 1 and 2. Gibson now looking high as Larry Gibson looks inside of brother Gene. Not enough there, though. Gene Lee I thought he had a shot at Niemeyer inside off turn number 4, but not to be, at least not for now, because the caution is back out. Like, again, the 3 car, Mike Ostrowskis. So we'll take a moment and get him back underway. Good time to take a pause. You're watching the ARCA Midgets on Speed Vision. Stick around. Welcome back to Flat Rock Speedway. Ladies and gents, great to have you along for the ride. It's been a good ride so far, especially for Jerry Niemeyer, the defending ARCA Lincoln Welders Midget Series champion, who has led most of the way so far with a couple of Gibsons in tow. Gene Lee, Larry, Phil Rutledge, and Gary Harrell still the top 5. Back underway. Niemeyer will show Gibson off turn number 2. Good 7-car train here, open wheel style. Gibson puts a wheel inside of Niemeyer, back to 1 and 2. Not enough. He'll chase the 16 car back off turn 2. Niemeyer working hard to hold off the 0 car. Niemeyer, Gibson, Rutledge, and Harrell, the top 5. And now Gibson gets a run on Niemeyer and goes around for the lead. Gene Lee Gibson, the new leader, here off turn 4. That's what happened. Niemeyer couldn't hold the chassis on the bottom end of the speedway. That opened it up for Gene Lee Gibson, as now Larry Gibson works on the 16 car to work to the high side of Niemeyer. Good open wheel racing here off turn 4. Gibson, Larry, that is, now running second. He'll bring along Phil Rutledge, who nudges the 5 car down the backstretch and into 3 and 4. This is more than tight. They got together there off turn 2 as Rutledge, last year's winner, continues to work on the 5 car and work. Yeah, just give him a and wow, I don't know what happened, but the 5 car slowed abruptly after that last nudge. May have knocked the car out of gear, not sure, but the 5 car of Larry Gibson has pulled his machine to the middle of the racetrack, and that doesn't look good. All over for the 5 car. Too bad. Had a great run going, as does his brother, who have to fill in for now. And boy, is he filling the big shoes tonight. Gene Lee Gibson now with about a half a straightaway advantage over Phil Rutledge in the 97 car. He takes the heat from Gary Harrell in car number 4. This is the race for second. 2 new race cars. Car number 97, Phil Rutledge, the vet shop Pontiac, going at it with the car number 4 of Gary Harrell, the R&M Towing, KO Lumber Company, TJ Roofing VW, chasing a Pontiac here off turn 4. A brand new chassis, Gary running tonight, a Hawk chassis, that 4 car, as we pick up Gene Lee Gibson, who's putting the move on some lap traffic. They'll put a move on the 98 car. Make that the 90 car for Rob Bank. Rob Bank will go 1 lap down as Gene Lee continues to set the torrid pace. Talking about that chassis of Gary Harrell's in the 4 car, it's a brand new Hawk designed and built by the 1991 USAC National Midget Champion Mike Stryker, who's building a lot of Hawk chassis. Sales, I understand, are pretty good these days, and what would you expect? This one's a great example of one working very well. Fresh out of the box, Harrell set quick time tonight and is chasing Phil Rutledge for second here off turn 2. Look at him work the wheel, chasing Phil Rutledge. The race for second, and he'll never catch the 0 car unless he can get around that 97, and of course that's easier said than done. But while these 2 go at it, Gene Lee continues to open up the advantage up front. With laps winding down, looks like the handle's going away on the 14 car, one of the rookies on the tour. He'll go another lap down as Gary Harrell continues to chase Phil Rutledge. And car number 97 will pick up the action with the leader. This is Gene Lee Gibson, almost ready to lap the 45 car of Kevin Meyer, who's running very well tonight, but it's that 0 car that's got the chassis hooked just right. Man, is that thing working well here. They'll move around the 45 car to the high side. Myers now 1 lap down. Incredible run tonight from the Flintstone Flyer. Car number 0, synonymous with the Gibson Racing family. His father, Todd Gibson, a former USAC Sprint Silver Crown star, wore that number for years. Here's the race for 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's a good one. Rick Harrell in the car, number 1, chasing now the 16 of Jerry Niemeyer. The race for 4th, 5th, and 6th is John Evers. Works to the inside of Rick Harrell for 5th. Good open wheel racing here as they stack them up through 3 and 4, doubled up. Niemeyer, Evers, and now look at this. Gibson, we're talking about the battle for 4th and 5th, and Gibson is about ready to lap them. That's how well that chassis is working to the high side, trying to put a lap on Niemeyer. Not in time. Checkered flag falls for Gene Lee Gibson. What a run tonight from the Flintstone Flyer. Car number 0, Gene Lee Gibson, getting the job done, ARCA Midget style, here at the Rock. What a run. Great run tonight. Phil Rutledge will finish 2nd ahead of Gary Harrell. Had to work hard to hold off Harrell in the 4 car. But right now, attention will be turned to victory lane as Gene Lee Gibson rolls his Gibson Gillian Body Shop VW to a stop, victorious here at Flat Rock Speedway. Salute from the crowd as Gene Lee unbuckles and prepares to climb out of his winning race car here tonight. A job well done indeed. The Richwood, Ohio driver, Rich, with victory here tonight with the Lincoln Welders hat going on. And there's a lot going on. Much more ahead. We'll talk with Gene Lee when we come back. The ARCA Midgets on Speed Vision. Victory lane with a very happy Gene Lee Gibson, who worked hard for it tonight, nearly lapped the entire field. A great run.
Things are working pretty good. We had some trouble in practice, and we found our ignition problem and got things sorted out. The motor run perfect in the feature. I was kind of worried about it, but it never missed a lick, and the car handled perfect. Jerry Niemeyer there, he made me work for it for a little while, and then once he started smoking his right rear, he was dead meat. I was just waiting, and then right before that one yellow flag, I went to the outside and I shut, then I let it, he knew I was out there then, because before he was guarding the bottom, then he had to start, and that's what I needed. And then, like I say, he started smoking his right rear, and that really helped us a bunch.
And I tell you what, you had the crowd smoking as well. Congratulations, a great effort tonight.
Thank you.
Gene Lee Gibson back in victory lane, no surprise here. Victory lane. Here is your final running order. Gene Lee Gibson, the winner. Driver out of Richwood, Ohio, earned every bit of it here tonight. Phil Rutledge will finish 2nd. The vet shop Pontiac had to hold off Gary Harrell most of the way. Harrell giving it a great run tonight with a new track record for Gary Harrell. Quick time tonight in that Hawk Racing entry. Great run. Jerry Niemeyer, the defending champion, comes home 4th tonight. Led much of the event. He'll cross the stripe just ahead of John Evers, the Morenci, Michigan pilot, and the Michigan Corn Growers VW. Great run from John Evers tonight. Rick Harrell, the 2-time ARCA Midget champion, finished 6th tonight. He'll be participating on the ARCA Bondo Marhide Stock Car Series throughout the year on the super speedways. We wish him well. Chris O'Connell came home 7th tonight ahead of Kevin Myers. Todd Sears, the rookie, battles back tonight from the tail end. Rob Bank will complete the top 10. Dave Baumgartner, who had handling problems most of the evening, comes home 11th tonight. Larry Gibson finished 12th ahead of B.J. Manson, the rookie out of Perrysburg, Ohio. He'll come home 13th. 14th tonight, Mike Ostraskis from Howard City, Michigan, over Dominique Bono. Dub Helmke and the other Michigan Corn Growers V-Dub entry. And T.R. Barker, who had brake problems right from the start, will be credited with the 17th finishing position in tonight's ARCA Lincoln Welders Midget Series main event. 30 laps worth as we continue to watch Gene Lee Gibson, how well he worked the traffic here tonight. You'll see him thunder to the high side off turn 4, here to take the checkered flag, putting a lap on Evers, but not quite Niemeyer. Certainly a great run tonight, and one you have to really, really expect. They had that chassis working just right for sure, and here's a great example of it as we go back where Gene Lee took the lead for good from Jerry Niemeyer, working the high side here. Now sneaks a peek off turn 2. Not enough there. He'll fall back in line through 3 and 4 here. Still chasing Niemeyer. He'll look to the high side, and you can bet that Niemeyer knows he's there for sure as they stack up 7 deep behind him. Good open wheel racing, but it's Niemeyer who gets his chassis a bit loose off turn 2. That'll open up the door for Gene Lee, who takes advantage to the low end and checks out for good. Certainly a great run, as we mentioned time and time again. Gene Lee gets in victorious here tonight at Flat Rock Speedway. You would then, of course, open the advantage up to about 10 car lengths, maybe even a little more, over Phil Rutledge in the 97 car. Either way you shake it out, he had a great, great run. And we hope you enjoyed all the ARCA Midget action here on Speed Vision. From Flat Rock Speedway in Flat Rock, Michigan, so long, everyone.